Hello people, so I am going to be talking about batteries this round. Um, I kinda love these things and I kinda hate them because they don't work exactly like I want them to, but they still work. Anyhow, the latest patch introduced batteries. Both large and small batteries are energy storing units that you can use to save energy or run a ship without uranium. Now, small ships have batteries that can output 1.44 megawatts and requires the same amount to charge with a stored power of 360 kilowatt hours. I'm not sure how long that will actually last you. Um, okay, there's stuff going on outside at the moment. I'm sorry about the sirens. Kind of the curse of living in a big city, I guess. Anyhow, um, even though it requires the same amount of power to charge as it discharges, it is not 100% effective. 20% of the energy input will be lost, making them 80% effective. As with the large ship batteries and station batteries, they function the same way, except they got a 4 megawatts output and input power and a longer 1 megawatt hours. It should also be noted, personally I only use them in small ship because they seem to be more effective there, that these 1.44 megawatt hours is 1.44 megawatt is equivalent to 14 point something small reactors. So for small ships they are much more efficient than having, for example, 14 small reactors. They take up 3 times 3 times 2 space, so that's okay, that's actually not very effective now that I think of it, because that is 18 times more space and they output 14 times more power. Anyhow, you don't need to use uranium, so they're still pretty cool. I've made a replica of my survival ship over here that runs on batteries. As an example of a problem you run into when you build a purely battery powered ship. That is, when you create the battery it will have no power, you will not be able to charge the ship without having an additional ship. So I made this little cargo transport thingy that runs on a reactor instead, and hopefully I put off enough space so that it will be able to charge. Come on, little buddy. And there we go, I'm locked. And I forgot something. Yes, of course. You can turn batteries on and off like reactors with the Y button. Except when you do it with a battery, it will turn off the power but turn on the recharge, because you can't. You have to toggle between the two. You have to toggle between recharging and discharging. And as you can now see, I'm using 41.24% of my power, and that is because the battery is charging, which you can see in the control panel. It will be fully charged in 15 minutes. This is the same with large batteries. They will also fully charge in 15 minutes if they have enough input. In that case you need 4 megawatts to charge the battery in 15 minutes, sorry. But the point of this little demonstration when building ship is that you don't need to fully charge it. You can just charge it with a ship for a few seconds, which will give you enough power to move to a reactor based source like your station. As you can see, I got 2 minutes of fuel time when I maneuver, so I kind of wanna don't be too far away from whatever I'm gonna recharge from, and I have to remember to push Y before I dock, otherwise I just turn off the reactor. And now we are recharging. In my opinion, batteries are best suited for ships that don't use too much power. for example, this work ship and a grinding ship or whatever. Ships like combat ships require a lot of thruster power to be maneuverable and such, and they will drain the battery pretty fast. You could add more batteries, but that would add weight, and you need even more thrusters to be maneuverable and such, so I would recommend a bunch of reactors for combat ships. Another thing, I have not actually tested this to see how effective it is, but I've set up a solar panel array here because that is the first thought that struck me when I saw batteries. That is, you can use a solar panel array to charge your battery pack and then use that to power your station or whatever else, making energy free after you have initially constructed it. Now this isn't actually powerful enough to charge these two batteries. I need 8 megawatts to charge 2 batteries at a time, and I'm outputting barely 4. Anyhow, let's just see how we've done. I'm now turned off the lock here, and hopefully this should be able to maneuver it back down to the station. It is sluggish and it is behaving very strangely, at least compared to what I'm used to. Anyhow, the general gist here is that you could have a station inside an asteroid or whatever and simply ship the batteries back and forth to power the thing, which would make sense if you don't bash your stuff up. Yeah, which would mainly make sense in survival where you want to avoid detection, and one thing is if people discover your solar array and smash it at that, but they probably won't find your base since it's hidden. And why won't you? Did I just break something, or? Yeah, I broke something, didn't I? Okay, that's just great. As you can see, I am a professional. Okay, why? No, I don't require power to lock. This should work. Okay, so I've broken something. In a survival situation, you would of course not be so careless as to smash your stuff up. Also, you would probably have 2 batteries, so you can lock one in while the other's charging. Or 2 or more. Okay, I don't get this. It may be because both of them are unpowered. Yeah, I think that's the case. Let's just turn on the power in the batteries. Go enough 9 days, it says. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so I have delivered the battery, and we can now go on to the station, which doesn't have any reactors, and turn it on. And there we go, we have power for 2 hours. Yeah. That's also a thing I've noticed. They seem to be buggy that way. You can see I just turned 1 battery off. That means that half our capacity should be gone and we should only have 1 hour of battery left, but we still have 2 hours. This however says 55 minutes, so we'll probably only get the 2 hours, but it's outside in the display at the cockpit. It doesn't show it as it's supposed to be. Now we currently have 530 kilowatt hours of stored battery. Out of the 1 megawatt, that means we have about 50% capacity at the moment, so that gives you 4 hours per full charge, and if you had a full capacity solar array, it would take 15 minutes to charge. But since you have 4 hours, you don't need full capacity. You can have 1/12 of full capacity and still be able to charge the batteries up before it runs out on your station, assuming you don't have any more than this. But as I said to begin with, I don't find large batteries terribly efficient. I like them for small ships. They give you let's see, we've just been charging for about 5 minutes or so. Yeah, 4 minutes. And oh yes, this is a glitch that sometimes occurs when you disconnect a battery ship. It will disable your controls. Anyhow, yeah. I don't have any. I just made this replica from the copy from the ship I use in survival, and I forgot some stuffs. Okay, so we've charged for about 1/4 of the time we're supposed to, and we got 12 minutes of active time. That means 12 minutes to move around. When you're moving around a welding ship, you're probably not going to be moving for 14 minutes constantly, and you will also get 4 times that, so that's about an hour of constant active time of one battery. So they're great for your small utility ships that you don't have to depend on being active for a long time. But yeah, personally I just charge them via reactor. It's pretty stupid actually, because you lose 20% of the power and you could just put a reactor on the ship and use uranium instead. But I kinda like the ability to simply dock them when I'm done using them and then take them out. I do waste some energy, but I don't have to worry about uranium and stuff like that. That just about covers batteries, I think, and my ramblings. So yeah, thank you for watching, and as always, if you have any questions regarding this video or Space Engineers in general, feel free to ask in the comments below, and I'll do my best to answer and help. So see ya.